What if the Zulu kingdom had crushed every British invasion after their stunning victory at Isandlwana in 1879? King Cetshwayo's warriors didn't just win one battle, they kept winning. The British Empire's military reputation crumbled overnight across the globe. Other African kingdoms saw the impossible happen and joined the fight against colonial expansion. The scramble for Africa ground to a halt as European powers hesitated. But here's where it gets interesting. The Zulu controlled the diamond mines of Kimberley and later discovered gold in the Witwatersrand. No Boer War ever happened because the British never gained control of South Africa. African-controlled mining operations funded rapid industrialization across the continent. By 1900, the Zulu kingdom had railways, factories, and modern weapons. Their success inspired anti-colonial movements in India, Southeast Asia, and the Americas decades earlier than in our timeline. A powerful, industrialized African empire emerged that could negotiate with European powers as equals. The entire balance of global power shifted permanently. What if Joseph Stalin died of a heart attack just weeks before the Yalta Conference in early 1945? The Soviet Union would have been thrown into chaos at the most critical moment of the war. With Stalin gone, either Molotov or Beria would have seized control of the delegation. Molotov might have demanded even harsher territorial concessions from a weakened negotiating position. But Beria could have completely withdrawn from talks, leaving Churchill and Roosevelt to divide Europe themselves. Without Stalin's iron grip, the atomic bomb secrets might have been shared with more moderate Soviet leadership. Or perhaps a power struggle would have made the Soviets even more paranoid and aggressive. The entire Cold War could have been prevented if reformers took control. Germany might have been unified under Western influence instead of split in half. But if hardliners won the succession battle, Soviet expansion could have been far more brutal. One heart attack could have either saved millions from decades of oppression or plunged the world into an even darker conflict. Here are 5 things you didn't know about Eleanor of Aquitaine, the most powerful woman in medieval Europe. First, she was married to 2 different kings and controlled more territory than either husband. She ruled France as queen, then England, while her own lands stretched across modern-day France. Second, at age 25, she personally led 300 noble ladies on the Second Crusade, reportedly wearing Amazon-style armor and turning the Holy War into a scandalous adventure. Third, she divorced the King of France for being too monk-like, claiming their marriage lacked passion. This was unheard of in the 12th century, when women had no such power. Fourth, her own husband, King Henry II, imprisoned her for 16 years after she led their sons in open rebellion against him. She spent decades locked away for treason. Fifth, she outlived nearly all 10 of her children, ruled England as regent at age 78, and her bloodline produced almost every European royal house for centuries to come. Did you know Cleopatra spoke 9 languages fluently and was the first ruler in 300 years who could actually talk to her own people in Egyptian? But here's what gets crazy. Cleopatra wasn't even Egyptian. She was Macedonian Greek, which means she probably had blonde hair and light eyes, not the dark features we imagine. Want more shocking facts? She literally had herself smuggled to meet Julius Caesar, rolled up inside a carpet like some ancient spy movie. And she wasn't just a pretty face. Cleopatra owned a massive perfume factory that made her the richest woman in the entire Mediterranean. Here's something that'll blow your mind. Cleopatra lived closer in time to the moon landing than to when the Great Pyramid was built. Think about that for a second. But the most incredible part? This brilliant, multilingual businesswoman secured her throne by murdering her own siblings. She killed her brother-husband Ptolemy XIV and her sister Arsinoe IV in cold blood. Cleopatra was basically history's most successful sibling murderer, ruling Egypt for 18 years through pure cunning and ruthless ambition. Did you know one man's generosity literally crashed an entire continent's economy for over a century? In 1324, Mansa Musa, ruler of the Mali Empire, began his legendary pilgrimage to Mecca. His caravan included 60,000 people and 100 camels, each carrying 300 pounds of pure gold. But what happened next changed history forever. As he traveled through Cairo, Musa casually handed out gold bars to random citizens on the streets. He built a new mosque every Friday, paying workers with more gold than they'd ever seen. When he met the Sultan of Egypt, he gifted enough gold to fund the entire Egyptian government for months. The economic chaos was immediate and devastating. So much gold flooded the markets that massive inflation swept across the Mediterranean. European cartographers began mapping Africa for the first time, desperate to locate this impossibly wealthy kingdom. The aftermath was unprecedented. Precious metal prices crashed throughout North Africa and the Middle East. For over 100 years, the economy remained destabilized. Mansa Musa remains the only person in history to single-handedly destroy a continent's economy through pure generosity. Did you know one of Egypt's most successful pharaohs ruled for 22 years while wearing a fake beard? Hatshepsut reigned from 1479 to 1458 BCE, but there was one problem. She was a woman in a world where only men could be pharaohs. So she did something shocking. She transformed herself into a king. She commissioned statues showing herself with the traditional pharaoh's beard, dressed in full male royal clothing. Temple reliefs depicted her as a man, and she even changed her name to sound more masculine. But here's the incredible part. It worked perfectly. Under her rule, Egypt became a wealthy trade empire. She sent the first known expedition to the mysterious land of Punt. She built architectural marvels that still stand today, over 3,000 years later. Her stepson, Thutmose III, was so threatened by her success that he tried erasing her from history. He defaced her monuments and removed her name from records. But archaeologists rediscovered her reign in the 1800s, proving she outperformed most male pharaohs. Sometimes the best man for the job isn't a man at all.